From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Keeping it real indeed, gentlemen. Indeed. Welcome to The Power Move. I am John Gafford. With me, as always, back to being liquored up in the middle of the day, Colt Amidan.
You guys broke my dreams of becoming an Olympian. Eric said I had no chance. Either.
So now we've crushed your dreams. So you're back to drinking. And welcome back from his one-day absence, Chris Connell, Esquire. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
So let's get right into it. Tell us the story. How did you break your wife's foot? Because I'm sure some way, somehow, it's going to wind up at least being your fault. Sort of.
It's so funny when you walk into a hospital with your injured wife. The whole time I'm going, I bet you somebody thinks I did it.
Like
the whole
you
time.
Fell into the.
No, I fell down the stairs. I fell. No,
door.
she literally fell on flat ground. I was talking to my father in my office. It was like 8:30 at night, watching football. We had barbecued all day. She thought I was on a business call because she's a couple pops in. Let's call it what it is. And so she just went to run after the kid who was going to run at my office, and we had this thing where she helps me out by preventing. I'm on
the kid from dying.
I'm on
That's
a
her role.
Call with some servicing company and whatever. Hey, daddy, blah, blah, blah. She keeps me. That's mommy plays.
Interference. She runs interference.
Like that one news clip that went super viral where that guy's kids kept coming back. And so she just went and on flat ground. I mean, there's no great story. There's no skateboard in the middle of the
nothing.
Room. Literally just went to move and cracked her ankle. Literally broke it.
It's funny you say that. I was Hayden one time when he was a little kid. He was getting out of the pool when he was 4, and he missed the short-armed it. Alligator armed it with the short arms and went face first into the side of the coping on the pool. Didn't break anything because I guess little kids, when their nose cartilage isn't developed that much. But we took him to the emergency room just to make sure. And again, the whole time I'm like, they're going to think we smacked him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we get in with the nurse, and I'm like, I got to tell you, I thought that, pre-K cage fighting class would be good for him, but this is just ridiculous. And dude, the nurse just looked at me.
Did not find it funny.
No, she did not find it funny whatsoever. And speaking of not funny, legend dies this week. One of my personal heroes, one of my favorite guys ever, Norm McDonald, passed away. Those of you who know me, if you do know me, you have suffered through my favorite joke in the world.
Those of you that know me and have listened to the show realize how much I despise OJ getting off too. Something Norm McDonald was literally number one at.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Well, they say that he got kicked off Saturday Night Live because he wouldn't leave OJ alone. He wouldn't stop.
Yeah, yep.
It was just relentless.
And,
OJ.
Good for him. That is a power move.
Oh yeah.
Yep, stand on OJ. That is definitely going to be a power move for sure. But my favorite joke, the moth joke. We debated today. Chris was like, you have to tell the moth joke on air.
So sometimes you meet a person in your life where you go, what's something they do well? For John Gafford, being a great real estate broker. And, for Colt, it's getting wonderful haircuts. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's the first time I've ever heard that compliment.
I didn't realize John was such a good storyteller in the way he tells jokes. And I like jokes. I have some elaborate, ways of going on and on, bloviating, as is apt to be for an attorney. But John, I get paid hourly. John, we were at a backyard. He breaks us out, and I literally had just tears in my eyes because I remember Norm doing it, but it wasn't the same. It had
it's never the same. It's never the same twice. So before I do this, because I am going to do it, I'm going to warn you. If this isn't your cup of tea, if this starts to aggravate you at some point, just skip forward because we are going to talk about some pretty decent things throughout the podcast today, including a great charity that's coming up called Kids Join the Fight that I'm going to help with. We're going to talk a little Gavin Newsom, and we're going to talk about 3 business mistakes that owners make, but also we're going to talk about some capital gains changes that are coming up that you need to hear about.
Hugely important. Stick around for this. This is some of you may suffer through this. I don't probably want to hang out with you if you're suffering through what's about to happen. If you just enjoy this as immensely as I do, give us a call. Come hang out.
Yeah, this is this is a good filter.
This is a great.
It's like this is how you know who your friends are.
If you like this, we can go drink.
If you think this is funny, you can go to Cocktails with us anytime because I think it's hilarious.
If you don't like Led Zeppelin, if you don't like dogs, and you don't think this joke is funny, lose my number.
Yeah, I can't help you. So anyway, without further ado, here it is. Okay, so this moth walks into a podiatrist's office, right? And the podiatrist looks at him and goes, can I help you? And the moth goes, yeah, Doc, I got to tell you, it's been a challenge lately. It's been really tough. Doc's like, what's going on? He's like, well, so I got this job down at the moth plant, and I get up every morning. The alarm goes off at, crack of 6:30, and I roll over again, going to trudge myself through a meaningless existence, get in my car and drive down to the plant where I work for, John Gafford. So I work for. And, I don't know what I'm doing down there. I think you making me laugh is making me this funnier. I don't even know what I do down there, Doc. It's like, I don't even know if John Gafford knows what I do. All I know is he knows he has power over me and he likes it. And so, I'll come up with great ideas to make the days go better and pass the time. And, he takes my ideas and he passes them off as himself. Doc's like, man, that's not a good way to do it. Yeah. So you know what I do, Doc? I drink heavily. There's a little, I go into the store and I stop there at the liquor store. It opens, at 8:15ish. Because the guy's always late because he's got some personal issues. But he gets the store open at like 8:15. And I'll go in and, I want to buy the big bottle, but I can't. I got to buy the little red tops, the little screw-offs, because that way I can sneak them in my lunch pail and John Gafford won't see me drinking them. And I drink to get through the day. Doc's like, so you got a drinking problem? No, that's just part of it. And then I go home and, I got to look at my family and I look at my moth wife. And are just dead eyes looking at me because I've let her down. I'm not who I'm not the moth she married. She had big dreams of a house in the suburbs and a white picket fence and the mailman coming by and saying, hey, look how happy those moths are. I wish I was that happy. And I just let her down and those dreams are crumbling right before her eyes. It's like, yeah, my son. I look at him with his dead stare and I can tell, I used to be his hero, and all I see in him is the disappointment that I find when I look deeper within myself. And I got to tell you, Doc, the worst part is I don't love him anymore because he just reminds me so much of the shell that I am today and how much wasted potential I had. Doc goes, man, that sounds serious. Yeah, Doc, so I just wish I had any courage anymore because if I had any courage, I'd reach into the nightstand because I keep a gun and I put it up to my moth head every night. And, I just want to pull the trigger, but I'm too much of a weakling and I can't do it. I don't want to give John Gafford Jack at the factory the satisfaction of knowing that he cracked me and thrown me over the edge because in some twisted game that he plays in his head, I know that he would think that way. The podiatrist says, man, that's a lot of problems. You need a psychiatrist. This is a podiatrist office. Why'd you come in here? The moth goes, because the light was on. So, thank you. Rest in peace, Norm. That was he hijacked an entire segment of Conan O'Brien with that joke. And wouldn't let it go. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you think that's as funny as I do. If you don't, let's face it, if you didn't think that was funny, you're not listening anymore because you just turned this off. You just completely shut this off.
So every time it's funny just because this poor fucking guy, you're just like, he's struggling with that the lives of quiet desperation that most men lead.
Yeah.
And you look at my son and it's just this horrible reality. And just like,
came in because the light was on. The funniest part about that joke is actually when I watched it. I put a link to it yesterday, and I was talking to people, and I said the funniest part was at the very beginning when he was first talking to Conan O'Brien. He's like, no, so because where do you get your material? He's like, well, like for example, I got some great material on the way over here. You sent a car for me. And he's like, yeah, so the driver told me the joke. And halfway through it, Conan's like, how long was this commute? Did they pick you up in Connecticut? Like, where were you? This is going on.
I was in Boston.
Oh, God, which is just crazy.
He was such a great comedian.
Oh, he was the best.
Either people hated him or you absolutely loved him, in my opinion.
I read a great quote today. Again, being the internet, I have no idea if he said it, but if he did, it would be such a Norm thing to say. Somebody apparently he said years ago when he said, I don't know why people say you lose the battle to cancer, because if you die the cancer dies. So the way I see it, you didn't lose. That's fighting to a draw. I thought
that's the most Norm McDonald thing.
Yeah. It's a very Norm McDonald thing to say, and I thought it was great. So that's that. But
Dirty Work. Dirty Work is a film, by the way. It's not a movie.
Yeah, it's a film that should be taken in.
It's a film.
It should be taken in. But let's talk about some other stuff, man, that happened. Let's talk about Gavin. Well, I want to talk about that yet because I want to talk about this because Norm's dad passed away yesterday and he died of cancer, which is very terrible. And I don't mean to go from something that was so funny and celebrating to something that's kind of a downer. But a friend of mine in New Orleans, he's a family that's friends with everybody that I know there. Their 8-year-old son Walker just lost a long battle with cancer last week. He succumbed to that, or as Norm would say, he fought it to a draw. I think to say that's better. But the only reason I bring that up is because Walker was such a unique little kid that he wanted to make sure that this didn't happen to other kids. So he started a foundation called Kids Join the Fight. And my kids got invited to participate with this. I'm going to put you guys on the spot to invite your kids also to invite to be with it. And what the goal of this is it's kids raising money for pediatric cancer. Apparently, 1 out of every 245 children in the United States at some point in their life will have cancer. And there's such a small amount of money of federal funding that is currently given to that issue that they just want to kind of shed light on that. And this is kids raising money through anything they can. Lemonade stands, kickball tournaments, mowing yards, whatever it may be, any type of fundraiser they can have. And the goal is before the end of September, because September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. They want to have an event in all 50 states. This has really gotten some legs behind it. I know that the Berries, which is Walker's family, I think we're going to be on Good Morning America this week. It's really caught legs. And, if you see something like this, if you have any ideas for what we can do to make that work, and I'll let you know how it goes, but we're going to do the kids are going to do something. I already told my kids, I need to start planning something to raise some money for pediatric cancer. I've made a commitment also from Simply Vegas that no matter what they raise, we are going to match that. So hopefully it'll be a big amount and we can write a big check. And, even though Walker fought cancer to a draw, we can definitely maybe help another kid. Pick up where he left off and keep his memory alive through that foundation, which I think is great.
That's such an ugly thing to watch kids with cancer.
Yeah, it's hard. I know that for a while, and again, not to take a super serious turn, but when your son had some issues and you guys didn't know what was going on, sitting in those waiting rooms, it's tough.
I won't even talk about it because I'll cry still. But
yeah,
it's ugly.
No joke.
It's ugly. So God bless everybody with that.
God bless. So we're going to do that and make sure that goes along. But let's talk about the election yesterday.
Yep.
Switch gears to that. So Newsom survives yesterday. And
62%.
But here's my question: why are people so surprised?
It's become even more of a Democratic state than it was. How many years ago? Was that 20 years ago when Arnold?
Yeah, it was 20. It's been 20 years since Arnold, right?
Jim Brown got recalled in 05, 06?
Something. But it's been a hot. But when is the last time California went red in a national election?
It's going to be blue. And here's the thing. Part of what was in that recall was literally talking about, illegal immigrants and all this stuff. And I've talked about this a long time ago, not taking a partisan side on anything.
Right.
I'm an independent. I look at issues independently. But at some point, there's going to have to be recognition in, certain parties that if you want to sway the base to your side, you're going to have to find a way to reach out and connect with them. Now, when you talk about a base of a population, especially in the Latino community, the Hispanic community, you talk about people that vote Democrat, but that are literally born Republicans. Very religious, very conservative, very family-oriented, all that stuff. And I've always wondered, and I don't, like I said, take a position, but I'm always very curious as to why that isn't sort of like the main focus with the modern Republican. And in the bill, though, the bill literally kind of still is sort of demonizing, not in so many words, but, tangentially demonizing almost, a community that they, would be weaponized for them if they used it properly.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. I was at a charity, this was years ago, and a guy got sat at our table, and he was in the Republican forum, and he was higher up, and my wife's Mexican, and he sat there, and that was his question. He goes, we cannot understand why we can't get the vote when you guys, your whole, religious, everything is Republican. And, that always, I was like, wow, he's right. Why can't you get that vote? So,
well, I think what you see is you see people that are, it's like the problem is, and it's both political parties actually, but the problem is if 9 things check my box,
that's
and number 10 upsets me, I'm not voting the other way. I just don't vote.
Yep. See, I think that's a huge
issue.
issue for Democrats.
Yeah.
That is, I'd say, the number one issue for Democrats is they won't hold their nose.
Yeah.
Not to get into a political talk, but just this is a very objective, in my opinion, way to do it. That Republicans are better at kind of holding their nose. A lot of them didn't like Donald Trump, but still voted Trump as opposed. Whereas a lot of Democrats, if you're not a perfect candidate, if you haven't done those things to the extreme that you're on, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're slightly left, then you'll be less worried about the sort of mispronouncing or whatever, all those different things. But the further down you get the line, you have less nose holding, and you have things like independence, and you have the things like.
Well, okay. Well, so back to the left. Do you think that Democrats are losing some of their party with some of the way out there pronouns, all of these things?
I think that on a long enough timeline, there will be a swing back to younger people going, wait a minute, because it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
The concept of perfection and never being incorrect or never making mistakes is one that's untenable. It's not one that can last forever. So when you have somebody the guy who lost his job for Jeopardy, he had some like lame tweet 7 years ago and he lost his job for it.
Yep.
And Ken Jennings had some stupid, tweet, lost his chance at it for. We're talking about things people say 7 years ago. I've said fucked up things in this chair.
Yeah.
Because you take your shots.
Colt's planning on saying something crazy the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, like, are you guys
take
ready?
Your shots,
yeah.
Right?
And do you think, you say you don't think it will stay extreme. I mean, it's been pretty extreme for the last, 15, 16 years. And I think that I think that we have such more of a independence, independent voter, but no one will ever vote that because then they think their vote doesn't count. Right,
sure.
Like there will never be it'll always be two parties, in my opinion.
If you found a party that, because everybody likes to say this, everybody that grew up with our generation or younger,
they say I'm fiscally responsible, socially liberal,
conservative. Which I mean, we can get into the facts about which parties spend more.
Yeah.
I always wonder why people say they're fiscally conservative and vote for things that cost a lot of money, like war.
Right,
but that's just personal. If you're fiscally conservative and socially liberal, okay, leave the stuff out about who you can marry, kind of the more moral stuff. Leave that out. Talk about, fiscal conservatism, find that base, you could have a third party that would crush.
I don't see that happening.
See, I've ever told you about my goal for political party? What I want to do? I think I could run for I could run for political office, and this is my platform. You ready? My platform is this: I will be there as an empty vessel. I will be sailing the sea as an empty vessel, and here's what I mean by that. Every single issue that comes up, I will have one left-leaning. I'm sorry. I'll have one left-leaning assistant, one right aide, one right-leaning aide. All right. I will have them write every issue that comes up. Yeah. I'll have them write their opinion on it on both sides of the aisle. I will then go like American Idol, and I will say, fastest finger vote. Text this to vote this way, that way, in my constituents. I will control it. And then whatever my people say I should vote, I will walk in and push the button.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Democracy.
I know. Shockingly, right? Shocking. Well, we don't live in a democracy, though. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic.
A representative oligarchy.
Yes, we live in a republic. We don't live in a democracy. That's the biggest mistake a lot of people make. They don't understand the difference.
I mean, like the republics are still, have the element of, but we live in an oligarchy because what happens is you vote in your oligarch. Mm-hmm. Your oligarch goes to Parliament Hill or Capitol Hill or wherever you go. Mm-hmm. And they vote kind of how they're going to vote.
Yeah. They're going to do what they're going to do.
But here's the thing.
And then they either apologize or say, thank you. It's not democracy.
Not a democracy because my vote, you should be, if you get in on this party, that's how you should vote.
Right. So if you want to elect me to any position in Washington as part of the internet party, I'll call it, because you just kind of go on the website and vote. There you go. If
Can we try that?
If American Idol could do it, why can't I do it? Why can't I do it?
Can we try to make a push and see if we can get one of us on some sort, even just a simple council?
Well, we know it's not going to be you.
No, but I feel
John.
like it's you, John. I'll be the Olympian that supports you, and we'll go from there. No?
I was just about to say something that was going to ruin all my political chances. Just
and then here we go.
Just today, but
No,
I think that's great. I think there's no reason why you shouldn't have that be a guiding star as a politician, right? Why would I on voting day, come in there? Allegedly, these people are talking to the constituents to find these things out, but they're not.
They're not.
No one's ever spoken to me or
they're going in. The lobbyist walks in, hands them a bunch of money, and they vote the way the lobbyist says to vote.
It's kind of like how the NCAA didn't pay their
exactly.
their slave labor either.
I've always said that we really should have more, businessmen that will make business decisions.
People.
You got
Colt.
attorneys. You've got
The thoughts and feelings of Colt Amidan do not reflect that.
Business people. I'm sorry, but just
ladies
groups.
do business now too.
A lady can be anything she wants now, Colt. Welcome to the 21st century.
See, this is going to go viral.
Is it? Colt's done. You're done. You just lost it. You ruined the whole thing.
Totally on purpose.
With one comment.
We're looking like you, John.
John,
Jesus.
you're on it. I'm going back to equestrian.
Horses don't ask questions, Colt, do they? They don't ask any questions.
They do all the work.
Like, what's the caliber of the rider on me? They don't ask that question.
Or they always answer the right way. Nay.
Wow. Okay, hang on. That's getting crickets. I actually have crickets on the board. I never thought to use it. That was crickets for you right there. That's just brutal. That was terrible. You're going to fall at the math joke.
Dad's so hard.
The math joke with that is what you're coming with, which is just terrible. But the thing that I thought we were talking about earlier that with Gavin Newsom that was so nutball was what would have happened had he lost?
So had he lost, if he didn't clear 50% majority, 50% plus one,
Right.
the next person with the highest amount of votes would have taken office. So based on the rules in California, so I think the next leading guy has something like 12, 14%.
So with 12% of the popular vote,
12%
here's your new governor with 12% of the popular vote.
100% of the people, here's your new guy with 12%.
I mean, okay, look, here's the deal. Number one, I think we can agree on a couple of things. Why anybody would want the job as governor of California, I have absolutely no clue.
You can get into the French Laundry.
Yeah, that's a good call. So other than getting into French Laundry, I don't know why you'd want that job. I mean, the state
It's a total, any government official, honestly. Why would you want, it's a total, no.
He's an empty suit.
No.
Look, Gavin Newsom is an empty suit. The guy is not anybody that I find personally. I see him as being an opportunist. I see him as being somebody, he made his own money. I will give him credit for that. Okay. He's one of the few politicians, he made his own money through the help of like family friends, but he didn't grow up rich. But he, so I respect that. That's why I want in business. Yeah. But then his political career seems to be very opportunistic. And I don't, like I said, the next guy he would have, I would agree.
Last time I checked, we got a governor of this state that seems like he's done quite well since he's gone from one position to governor of this state.
Isn't it wild that every single congressperson leaves office a millionaire?
Yeah.
That is not something
it's not by accident.
Lightly. No. But not only not taken lightly.
Yeah.
That should be something that is prosecuted. I think that there should be absolutely no way for that to happen.
Well, the thing
just like before COVID, when everybody started selling stocks.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
You should be prosecuted for insider trading.
You should.
Period.
And it'll never happen.
No.
It'll never happen. Okay. So obviously we can all agree that California, worst state to be governor of. I'm going to say probably worst state.
Worst state more than Florida? Louisiana? Florida,
with the floods, that's
constant, constant human.
But
tragedy.
you get to become a positive figure during those times.
That's true.
So
and you actually get to serve people.
What I don't get is,
if a lot of people.
Hey, you know what the best day was? 9/11, right?
You know what? You know what'd be the best state to be part of, governor for?
Remember when Rudy Giuliani? Remember when Rudy was a hero?
Yeah.
Remember when he wasn't?
Wow. He was a hero.
What would be the best? What would be the best state to be governor of? What do you think?
Oh man, one of those real sweet cupcake states like
Vermont.
Just something where you just kind of call it in. Delaware.
I'm going with like the Montana of the world. It'd be pretty
Montana
solid.
would be pretty sweet.
Maybe I'm watching too much Yellowstone. But
Yeah, I was going to say, until all the California
quiet,
money
though.
comes in.
A little sleepy?
A little sleepy. Hard to pull tables at the French Laundry.
Yeah,
See,
look,
I think
you're
the
not going to be
best-
president from being governor of Montana.
No, I think California might be the best. There is so much money to be taken
Washington.
on.
See, again.
Washington would be pretty
What?
sweet.
Now,
'Cause
Colt,
you got a lot of money
that's
and
true.
power there.
Yeah.
without
Washington.
a ton of the
Colt
There
just
you go.
says, there's so much money to take in California.
Yeah,
You're not making a good case for yourself.
bribes would be amazing. Might pay.
just the corruption in this room already. That's why.
I know. Maybe
John
already.
Gafford and Colt Amidan, running mates.
Yeah, no. The thoughts and opinions of Colt Amidan do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of the Power Move. Yeah, it's funny. Yesterday when you weren't here, it was like we started saying a couple things, and he's like, "Whoa, we don't have counsel
we
here.
don't have counsel.
We don't have counsel here. Put the brakes."
Yeah,
Let's just
that's
talk
good.
about something good. Monday Night Football. That's what we talked
That's
about.
what. Yeah,
yesterday.
we kept it pretty light. We kept pretty light
yeah,
yesterday.
dude.
But let's. You know what? But I do want to shift gears. Let's talk about, because there's a lot of business owners that listen to this, and if you are in real estate, or if you're an agent by yourself, if you're an independent salesperson, if you are an independent contractor of any sort, you own your own business.
Yep.
I mean, you are a business owner that owns your own business, and I want to talk about some mistakes these people seem to consistently make, and how they could do better, and things that you see or what you see.
I've got three major things that I'll tell people. Not knowing your demographics, right, it is the biggest, one of the biggest things. Not having proper experience and not being properly funded. Those are my three major ones that I see people will automatically fail.
I think those are realistic, but I think that those are almost three good reasons to go start your own business. Like if you don't have the funding, it's where are you going to get it? Sink or swim,
No, but when you come to me, I get so many calls that somebody needs probably $2 million to do something. They're like, I got 80,000 and I got another 10,000 in this bank account. It's like you have so much.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, because being underfunded as a rule in business sucks, right? So you have to understand your business. The number one problem, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I tell people this every single time they come to me with a business idea. Let me see your business plan. They go, I don't have one. I go, why don't you have one? And they go, well, like it's just an idea. I'm like, don't talk to anybody about your
until you have a plan.
Other than getting
until you have an actual plan that you're doing
together, right? But
People
the number
will
one
steal
mistake
it.
people don't do is put together a business plan. And here's the thing: it doesn't matter what your business is. Your idea is worthless. There's not a good idea out there that's worth a shit.
No,
without execution.
Well, it's funny. Andy Frisella today, I just saw a clip on Aaron Wagg's Facebook, and he was at lunch with Andy Frisella, and Frisella was like, dude, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You just got to be the guy that executes. The world is littered with people with great ideas. They don't have the gumption to get up and actually go do it.
Well, you can have a bad idea and make it work. You can execute. Do you see those?
Like, for example, you know what's a bad idea? Serving somebody 6 margaritas in 15 minutes and then towing their car when they go to a concert, Chili's. That's a bad idea. Terrible idea, Chili's.
Don't do what Chili's does.
Don't do it.
But the other thing is being inexperienced. I know a lot of lawyers that go cut their own shingle, and they go and they learn, because it's kind of trial by fire. And some have the fortitude to put in the work it takes to figure it out and take the cases that aren't over their skis and figure it out. And then if you fail, then you kind of go, mea culpa, and you go back to a firm where somebody else has done the work for you already.
Well, and I get that, but you'll sit there and see people they don't do any, market studies or anything like that. Are you
talking about just more being a vacant dreamer?
No, I'm talking about people that have plans and
Colt, because Colt's in commercial real estate. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, Colt is the commercial director here at Simply Vegas.
An idiot most of the time on this show.
He's here for entertainment, but he's actually really. It's kind of like he's kind of like Rain Man for commercial, like not really good at anything else,
right?
But like knows commercial inside and out.
But definitely triple net.
Triple net. It's got to be triple net.
Definitely taxes.
This is making where none of us can run for governor of California.
No, but I think what Colt's trying to say is that people that come to him, they're like, I need you to find me space. And when you apply for space somewhere, the landlords actually want to see if you're real. They want to see your plans. They want to see your financials. They want to see this stuff.
Yeah.
And those are the questions he's getting. So he's asking those questions preemptively because he knows it's coming from the landlord.
And I think that, again, like there's a liquor store right up the street. And it's like, I walked in there and they had every low-end liquor there is. And I'm like, okay, you're across the street from literally billionaires. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we're just trying to figure it out. And I'm like, okay. And a half a mile down the road is Lee's Discount Liquor, which is the larger, like, what were you thinking?
The dominant force in the market.
Yeah.
The absolute dominant force.
You know, it's funny because I see so many people maybe at a different level. See, at least the people where you're talking about are at least trying to mobilize on that step of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that 2 steps back, there's a lot of people trying to get money and put together businesses,
trying to raise cap,
trying to do this stuff.
Well, let's do this. Let's wait, and after the break, let's come back and let's break it down step by step where we think people screw up as they go along and they build these things. So, guys, we'll be right back with more Power Move in just a second.
How do you fail at a liquor store? Yeah, I think it's probably still do well. Right?
Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.